Base Case Season 2, Episode 31, Sharpening the Saw, Part 1. In Stephen Covey's book, he tells an anecdote of a man walking in the woods and coming upon another man feverishly sawing a tree. He's trying to take this tree down. The guy looks exhausted, and the man asks him how long he's been at it. He says, "Over 5 hours, and I'm beat. This is exhausting." And the man suggests taking a few minutes to sharpen the saw. It'll go faster that way. And the man looks at him and says, "I don't have time to sharpen the saw. I'm too busy sawing." Now, I've been like that more than a few times, so involved with something and wanting to get it over with that I dispensed with doing the logical things and just continued on wasting my time. As musicians, we do that. We practice and write, and we want to get it over with sometimes. And sometimes it's our literal saw that needs sharpening. I play on my students' instruments sometimes, and the action is too high, or the strings need changing, or need some electrical work, and it needs a strobe tuning, etc. And if the strings were lowered, it'd be easier to play. But the student's too busy to notice it or take it into the luthier. Stephen Covey writes that this habit, number 7, is the habit that surrounds the other 6 habits because it's the habit that makes the others possible. To reference one of my previous podcast episodes, it's difficult to put first things first if your instrument is difficult to play or if you're exhausted. That's where habit 7 comes in, preserving and enhancing you. Preserving and enhancing your greatest asset, which is you. It's nice, right? How many times have you heard that in different and various ways? Who not only takes the time to take care of themselves, but makes a plan to take care of themselves. Now, it's March right now as I'm recording this episode. What about those New Year's Eve, New Year's resolutions from a couple months ago? Remember those? In a lot of cases, they've gone away. They're trampled under the relentless pace of keeping up, which is difficult and probably impossible. Those plans of working out, drinking more water, doing yoga, going to bed earlier, making time for ourselves. Where did it go? Taking care of your physical body? Shelved. Here's something obvious. You can't play bass without the physical body. Right? Literally impossible. If you're sick in the hospital, you're not going to be playing any bass. If you're not at your full health, you're not going to be playing bass the way that you need to. You can't play your best bass and advance without your attention to your physical body. If you don't take care of it, is somebody else going to do that for you? It's virtually impossible. I don't care how many doctor's visits you do. Covey writes in that chapter that there are 4 dimensions of your nature, and I'll start the one that he starts with. And it's not any more important than the other 3 dimensions, and that's the physical dimension, the one I've been hinting at. Going back to the previous episodes on Habit 3, sharpening the saw is a quadrant 2 activity. You've got to act on it. Unlike quadrant 1, which is urgent and acts on us, like I mentioned, that car battery that needs to be replaced. We've got to find ways and time to sharpen the saw until it, quote, becomes second nature. I'll quote Covey again, until it becomes a kind of healthy addiction. And he even says what I just said, no one else can do it for us. We must do it for ourselves. And I like the way Covey says it. It's the single most powerful investment we can make in life. Are you going to play bass better because your body's in better shape? You're damn straight. It happens all the time, whether you realize it or not. You eat the right foods. Get rest and relaxation. Rest equals sleep and naps. Relaxation, it's activities that relax and enhance us. I don't care what it is, reading, listening to music, being with people, the ones that you like, maybe even a lot of times non-musician types. And that third point, the exercise. Look, man, I'm not going to tell you how to exercise. You've got to figure that out. I do know it's got to be simple. Musicians are busy. Something that you can do around your house. Walking used to be a popular activity. And it wasn't for concerted exercise. People just walked to get places. Store was a couple blocks or a half mile away. They walked. Not so much anymore. Watch some older movies. People are walking all the time. Quote, hey, out of a movie, hey, let's take a walk and talk about it. Not so much anymore. When I was in grad school, a student stopped me to ask if there was a closer parking lot to the workout facilities. I said, you could just park right over here and walk over to it. It was only about 5 minutes away. Her eyes popped out of her head and she walked away shaking her head like she was going to walk 5 minutes to go work out. Walking's good. I get ideas about teaching and playing in my podcast episodes when I'm walking. Maybe you don't want to walk. Maybe you just need to get some air. Standing or sitting outside, breathing fresh air and having the sun shine on you for a few minutes. Do that. That's good for you. I do that before lessons. As the student is unpacking their bass and tuning, I go outside for a few minutes to get a break from recycled air. But look, whatever you do, walking, doing yoga, breathing fresh air, it's beneficial. Like Covey says, as you act based on the value of physical well-being, instead of reacting to the forces that keep you from achieving physical well-being, you're making a stand for yourself. The human body that is the bass player. If you have questions, email me at phil@basscase.co. I'll talk to you soon.